So we'll start then with the Dunir.
Yeah.
The Dunir are a playable Dunsinkel Dwarven race in Ashes of Creation. They are stoic, tradition, and forge. Most of the peoples from the old world would see a mountain and think nothing of it. The Dunir saw a defensible home where riches abound. The Dunir take immense pride in what they craft and what they build. Fortifications that seem impregnable, warhammers that never break, or beautiful gems for their royalty are all in their repertoire. Don't be deceived by their stout stature. They're pound for pound the strongest warriors the world has ever known.
Yep, yep.
So their appearance. Facial hair is a characteristic of the Dunir, not the Nikua. Female dwarven beards will not match that of the male. It will be more of a braided option that is not as voluminous, which we kind of see in that right-hand picture that we were looking at earlier. You kind of see across the bottom, just here and here.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah,
Just a little bit right
it's
there.
just a little line. Yeah.
And go back.
So
Good.
the Dunir have a Nordic cultural influence.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So Dunheim is an open world dungeon in the Alpha Zero zone that was once a Dunir dwarven city.
Moria.
So their history. Yeah. Their history. During the great calamity that befell Vera, the inhabitants of Dunheim elected to remain in their mountain keep. This didn't work out well for them. In the wake of the destruction, many artifacts and treasures were left behind. So don't know who Dilla is, but this is her diary. I was a child when they first appeared in the night sky. At first there were 3 distinct lights. Not quite the brightest in the sky, but they were bright enough. My mother told me that they were a sign from the gods that the world was about to change.
Hey, thank
She
you
had
for
a
the
sense.
follow. Hello, face all.
Woohoo! Thank you, Faisal. She had a sense for these types of things. A long line of women in my mother's family were oracles. Written on one of many tablets in the great halls of King Grimley is the story of my great-grandmother, the royal court's regent oracle, and how she foretold the rise of the Undying during the Great War. As the days grew to months and months into years, the lights in the night sky grew in number. The priests in the temples began to refer to the lights as harbingers. Upon my graduation from the Master Stonecutters University, the lights numbered 16. Each passing month, the lights grew in brightness and size. It didn't take long for things to change in Dunheim. Families that I had grown up with began to move away from the city in the heart of the mountain. Travelers became less common, and temple services were filled every day with new converts, seeking answers about the harbingers and what they meant. My mother wanted to leave the city as well, but my father wouldn't hear it. His auction house is what kept food on the table, and my brothers were both in the council guard. There was no way my father was going to be seen leaving the mountain. Honor and respect meant more than life itself, and my father had great pride in my brothers. Despite my mother's persistence to leave the city, we stayed.
Yeah, we'll have to actually probably look into that a little bit more. It says that there's a read more
Uh,
to it, so
yeah,
take a look at that.
that might that might be something long and involved, but if you guys are ever on the wiki, you can take a look into that.
Yeah, but that's cool. Like I said, if they're really deep diving into little aspects like that to tell the past and stuff, that's cool.
It's good to read too, I think, before you choose your characters. You really know their background.
Yeah.
So the Jensen Kell dwarf. So back to where I was before.
Yep.
Here we go again. Deep in the mountains of Vera, legend tells of a forge created by the gods, from whence all dwarves are originated. Fabled to be the first created of the major races, the dwarves are said to have arrived on the continents with ships made of stone and steel. Dwarven smiths and craftsmen are found far and wide across Vera. The center of the dwarven race is the nation of Dunsinkel, found deep in the northern mountains. Dwarven society tends to be heavily matriarchal, and their clans existing under the oftentimes eldest matriarch. Dwarves are closely connected to one another by alliances forged between family guilds. The Dwarven child is marked at a young age with his or her guild sigil. Some dwarves banished from Dunsincal, or having chosen to walk a path alone, will often have their sigils burned from their skin. The Dunsincal nation, deep within the mountains of Vera, exists the oldest nation in the world. The Dunsincal have been known as many names over the ages, but only one name has graced the highest mountain with which their capital has stood since the beginning of recorded history, Dun. The dwarves of the Dunsincal rule through a council of guilds. A royal family is chosen once every 200 years by this council to rule. Currently, the right to rule falls on the shoulders of King Grimlay. It has been nearly 400 years since a king has led the Dunsincal. Traditionally, this role falls to the matriarchs of the family. Expeditions are often sent into the Underrealm from Dun, and there, many believe, lies the source of secrets among the dwarves and their success with mastering artisanship. Untold magic lies deep within Vera, its source not known to many. Dunsincal has long benefited from this source, though. It has fueled the expansion of the dwarven kingdoms throughout the northern mountains. Now we have Erlor. I haven't seen Erlor. Erlor was the founding member of the Frostguard expeditionary team, and also the first to succumb to the elements in that first fateful trek. It was Erlor who, in a fit of rage, took a hammer to the wheels of that first caravan, frustrated at their lack of progress and lack of foresight. He then replaced them with wide, smooth rails that he fashioned from nearby trees with his own hands and axe. It was Erlor who, when their southern horses stumbled and slipped on the icy tundra, disappeared into the wastes and returned with bear-like creatures he had somehow taught to obey his every bark and command. These creatures never slipped, never faltered, and had seemingly endless stamina. Though Erlor never returned, his legend certainly did, and the Frostguard expeditionary caravans are named in his honor. They love the dwarves. They definitely love the dwarves. Yep, dwarf. Yeah, no, I don't see it. I don't see Endless as a dwarf. Oh, Ephro, yeah.
I guess it'd be nice if I actually unmuted myself on the stream. But yeah, I was just saying, I like the look of the armor. Um, even though I should have kept myself muted, so then Missy would have just been talking to herself. That would have been funny.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Nope, nope, nope. But yeah, I was just saying that it'd probably be like a paladin tank, probably with a dwarf, if I was gonna look at doing that. So. Since architecture, to me, I feel like Durin from Lord of the Rings and like The Hobbit, like that whole like kind of architecture of the dwarves. This screams it. I mean, this looks like the
Oh,
door to the
absolutely.
mountain, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, so this is pretty cool. Yeah, I really like the buildings, stuff like that. They're pretty cool. And it's
Oof.
tiny, but it's loading. It's loading. There we
Now.
go. This looks like this is where spaceships would fly out and land, to be honest. Like,
Some TIE
so,
fighters come out of there.
so you have a tank right here, cleric, ranger, mage. And this is the Dunir. Yeah, that tank's pretty cool. The cleric's really cool too. Like like even there, like look at the staff. Like it even
Oh,
has
yeah.
that, you know, very
I like the beige, though.
Yeah, that mage is really cool. But yeah, I mean, it just they're blocky. Like everything's blocky looking. But that's dwarves for you, right? Blocky.
Dwarves are blocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not really. Yeah, we'll go next one. So we've seen this picture already, but this is kind of a colored dwarf look right here. So that's pretty cool. Here's some kind of like artwork on it. Into the mountains. Or it's going to be probably next to the mountains. So that'd be pretty cool. Steven. I think what they're showing here, this
that?
is... who's Steven?
Who's Steven? GM Steven.
Right. So of course this is like pre-alpha guys, so this is pretty, but so this is your attacks, your actions. I know this has already changed. And what's cool, Missy actually pointed this out to me last time, and I had to just add it text-wise to our YouTube video, is supposedly the more damage you take, the more this starts like cracking and getting worn down and beat up. So that's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, like I said, I think next week is when we start going into archetypes. There you go, Missy, I said it right. Classes and roles. I've read some of the stuff that's going to happen with augments and all that stuff. I'll give you a preview. Is so a warrior can charge, but if a warrior, a fighter practically, takes the mage aspect as their second class, they wouldn't physically charge anymore. They would teleport. So that's kind of how augments work. But that's another video, another stream.
Oh yeah, that's next Friday, by the way.
Well, actually, it's the one after next Friday when we go into augments and all that stuff. But yeah, we'll touch a little bit on it.
You have me confused with your timeline.
Hey, it's in there, and we're good to go all the way to April.
Yeah, tonight messed up.
Yeah, I was looking ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Well, I mean, it's COVID brain, right? It's like we're on COVID time. Like,
COVID brain.
it's like, okay, well, you know, what month is it? What month is it? Oh, who cares, right? We're.
I only know Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, Halloween doesn't even like. I mean, tomorrow's Halloween. Oh yeah, you know.
Poor kids.
Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, so here's a forge. Like I said, everything's really blocky looking, which, like I said, I love. Here you go. Here's a colored version of that one. So this is a cleric. It's a blocky staff. Even kind of like the mage is still blocky in some areas. So I think it's really cool. This game just needs to hurry up and come out.
No, we got so long to wait.
Okay, so here you go, guys. Here you go. So this is yet again what I was talking about, the difference in armors real quick. So this is an Empyrean elf. So this is the same chest piece, the same helm, the same hands, same legs and feet. Okay, but you have that same chest on a dwarf. As you can see, it reflects the race. So this just changes everything about, like I said, Missy can't just go, oh, I want that dress. If it's on a totally different race, she has to make another race to get that dress. That's just how it works.
So there's no envying other people's clothes.
Yeah, unless they're the same race, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right, some different kind of architecture in the walls. It's really cool how they actually have the moss on them too, because this is actually in game. So it kind of shows the age of them. This guy.
This guy.
This guy. I don't know who this guy is. So it looks to be probably not maybe an upgraded settlement there, probably. This is in game. Like I said, I really like that. It's kind of like a little castle barracks kind of thing going on here. Maybe something PvP wise.
See all the Nordic runes on things too.
Yeah, there you go. So built into the mountain. Yeah. It'd be a pain in the butt to go after a dwarf, to be honest. Just so entrenched into their mountain. Like, bring down the mountain.
Right?
It's like,
Without like explosives and things with modern technology.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, this could almost be like a metropolis, but it's all inside the mountain. So yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. In and out. Yeah. Unless this is a siege. This looks like almost like Kyrian are attacking it. Yeah, because the things are pointed towards it. I think there's a little fireball. So yeah, hopefully they have battlegrounds. Yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out when we get to PvP, but I think that's like next year.
Well, Brad, your schedule does go till April.
Yeah, well,
Every Friday
I'm
till
gonna have
April.
I'm gonna have to get into May too, though, because now I'm officially coming
Oh,
home in June. So, well, it's officially but not official yet. But yeah,
about time.
half away though, or half a year away.
It's okay.
Yeah, so so oxen, cows. Their farms are kind of weird looking, but okay.
They're like stone farms?
Yeah.
Okay.
Castle siege map. Okay, so it's a castle siege map. Destructible. Like, things will actually be destructible, guys. I really like the architecture, though. So that's unique. That's like, I've never seen that one before. Rubies.
Oh, weird donkey.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this would be a caravan because it's on a track, but
yeah, no.
Yeah.
Mining.
Yeah.
It's a mining cart.
These are cool looking.
Yeah.
There's your dwarf, different sizes. It looks kind of like a.
That looks like an elf.
Yeah, that looks like an elf. Yeah.
Ears are pointed.
There you go. This would be one of your caravans right here, guys. So, and I think I've definitely seen this in game. So that's a dwarven caravan.
We need to hydrate.
Hydrate? Someone use a hydrate? Yeah, I'm not seeing it on. Yeah, maybe I need to. I don't know. I'm looking at Streamlabs. Maybe I need to pop up the. Let's take a look here. Pop up this. Go to my channel. Uno momento, por favor.
That needs a burrito.
I need a burrito, yeah.
A real burrito.
T-Land, yeah, that was, yeah. We also need a stretch, too. It was 41 minutes ago. That was from the Reaper effect. Hydrate! Yeah. Alright, I'll have to do it this way. Alright, guys. Back to it. Let's do... Alright. I don't like that. Okay. So... Yeah, so the caravan with the actual, at least the mounts will actually be different as well. And I would say this would be a metropolis.
For sure.
I hope this is actually truly one, because I mean, look at these, like
like the waterfalls.
The waterfalls coming off of them. Yeah, that's really.
I wouldn't want to be the person having to build that bridge. I'll tell you that.
Right. Well, it doesn't look like it's too separate. Like you kind of there and there, but yeah, still.
Scary.
Yeah, the dwarves. There's a mount. This is probably going to be the mount because there are going to be racial specific mounts, just like World of Warcraft and any. I was about to say Final Fantasy, but no, everyone gets a chocobo. So, but yeah, this will probably be your. Could be a little hut there. These will probably be inside, to be honest. I don't think these would be freehold buildings, but they could be. You know, they could be. So here's some different. So these are all leather. Yeah. Just changing a little bit, probably depending upon what your class is, what you're doing. So here's an in-game model of a dwarf. So it's so funny because, you know, when we come from games like World of Warcraft, 16, you know, plus year old game here, and even BDO,
Apples, oranges.
yeah, and like Final Fantasy, like this game's the current graphics on Unreal Engine 4. Like, I don't know if anyone here has seen the Unreal Engine 4 version of like World of Warcraft, of like Goldshire and all that stuff. But you see it kind of like in an actual real looking, like if they were real, this is what they look like in game, you know, like in real life. So now we're kind of seeing dwarves and all these other ones, and it's just, it's weird seeing them because they almost look fake. I mean, they are fake. They're in a game, right? But it's just, it's like, that's not a dwarf. But, you know, but yeah, it's...
Looks like a child's drawing compared to this, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, this is going to be pretty cool.
It's hard to go back, and then you're like...
Yeah. Got this. I think this is their, this was like a siege. I think like that castle. So here you go. So node 3-4. So this is kind of a, like, probably village. This is your town. And then this is the metropolis looking. So even your buildings and lanterns and all that stuff, they get bigger and grow as you go. So it's
more
really
detailed,
cool.
more
You
intricate.
actually, yeah, you actually see your work, everyone's work, into this game. Like, you don't just, you know, like, you're not just doing your thing. You're not really connected to anybody. You don't just press a button and queue and then you're off. You know, like I know
there's going to be a whole lot of stuff you got to maintain and do.
Well, see, what's nice about it, and this was like our worry that we talked about, but the world manager is what it's called, guys. It's called the world manager system, and what that does is that balances. So, if your server only has 1,000 people on it, it will still feel the same as if you had 10,000 people on a server. It will balance the game out in that sense. So you could still get a metropolis at 1,000 people. It just wouldn't, like, you know, because you have less people adding experience to that node versus a 10,000 could have 1,000 people working on one node. So yeah, it'll definitely be, you know, you won't have to worry about, oh, I need to be on a populated server for things to happen. It's not gonna wait. That's not how they're designing the game, which is nice. So moving on. Yeah, so even your little burners change.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this.
Everything changes.
Node 6, yeah. So it just gets fancier, 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 fancier.
Fancy schmancy.
Also, your furniture inside your freehold, your houses. There you go. It's going to be racial specific. Which is good because you don't want to have a human-sized bed for a dwarf.
Oh, yeah, you would, because that... it would be big. It'd be like a king-size bed.
Yeah, so here you go. So here's a dwarf right here compared to a human.
The lightsaber?
Yeah, look at the little lightsaber.
What?
Right. And there's that again. Here's a bunk bed. And if you look at this, the Nordic, yeah, like they're going to be kind of like Viking-ish. It's going to be like Viking dwarf
Well, that's
Vikings.
Celtic on the
Yeah,
bottom.
that looks Celtic, yeah.
That is.
But
A good
Celtic
triquetra
and Nordic though, I mean they kind of dance with
Mm,
each other a little bit. Because I've seen symbols like this too on like Viking ships and wood carvings and stuff like that. There's like some crossover and some point.
well, they went to Ireland and Scotland. Like,
Oh yeah. Technically, weren't they the first ones to America too?
technically, yes.
Yeah.
But history seemed to forget about that.
Right. In-game bunk beds, so they look comfortable. And you wouldn't have to worry about the person sleeping underneath you and kicking you from the because their legs are so short, they wouldn't be able to even do it.
They can't reach the bunk top.
No, they'd just be sitting there going, eee.
Their legs would just be kicking in the air.
Yep. Lower to bed, yep.
And look how thick that wood is. You wouldn't even feel it if they could kick it.
Yep.
Pretty neat, though.
Right. Your chairs.
Sturdy chairs. Sturdy.
Yep.
Sturdy like a dwarf.
Different candles. So that'd be cool. I mean, it looks like these will probably be like all individually lit at night. So that'd be cool.
I'd like that for my house.
Right. See, Missy, you're not just gonna be an elf in this game. You're gonna be everything.
No, we'll be an elf.
Well, you'll be an elf, but you'll also be everything else. So
One day.
here's it. I think. Well, they kind of showed this like in the drawings earlier, but this is like the in-game look to it. So you'll probably start off with something like this, and then this is this set with a upgraded cloak and hands and headpiece. What I can kind of go with, right?
Yeah, everything will upgrade.
Yeah. All right, that was it for the Dunir. Now the Nakua. Now, as you guys tell, so we're still talking about dwarves here, but this is going to be completely different. So.